This is a very quick tutorial in Google Classroom on how to add a brief into one of your classrooms. So I showed you already how to set up one of your classes. So if you've already done that, so for example this classroom, fake class for tutorials, if I click in there, and in the stream section it's better to add a brief in here. So down here on the right there's a little plus button. And what I would do is go to create assignment. I would call it brief, say 01 if it's the first brief, or brief 02. Say doodle my day. I can put instructions in here. Please read brief and follow all instructions, for example. If I have a due date, which I would, and let's say the due date is the 25th of September. If I have a particular time, I can put that in, or I can leave it blank. The topic, I generally leave that blank. And then I would attach the brief. In my opinion, the best place to attach the brief from is from Google Drive. So you need to have your briefs in there already. So I'm going to go into my drive and we'll find a brief from last year. So let's say Colossia Dulig 2016-17 briefs. My first year. Go in here, and what I'm looking for is see this one, for example, GDO1 brief graphic design doodle. So that's the doodle my day brief, and you notice it has this icon, so I know it's a Google Docs document, and I'll say add. And what I want is to have this option. If it's a brief you're handing up, you want to have students can view the file. I'll show the other options in here. Students can edit the file. You don't want that on a brief because you don't want students going in and changing the brief. And make a copy for each student. You could do this, but at this point it's kind of unnecessary. What this is good for is if you have something that a document you want all of the students to fill out. But a brief, if they're just going to open it and read it, students can view the file. Now, what you can do is you can assign this. So I'll show you when I click on assign what happens. Okay, straight away, this will pop up in the stream section, okay? And the students can see that straight away. Whoever is enrolled in this class, which at the moment is only this person, but there would be more students, then they would see that straight away. Let me go back in and edit this, see if I can. Okay, we'll just cancel that. I'm going to put another brief up. Put the same one up. Brief 03, we'll call it Principles of. I'll put up a different one. And you can put instructions in. We'll put a due date in. Let's say the 30th of September. We'll go into Google Drive. I'm going to go my drive. Again, I'll find a brief from last year. Briefs. And if you're using the same briefs year after year, you can just use the exact same files. Principles of Design. And again, it has the Google Docs. It's already a Google Docs document. Students can view file. That's what I want. I don't want them to be able to edit it or do anything to it. So down here, if I decide, well, actually, I don't want the students to see this brief for another week, they can click in here and I can go schedule. And when do I want the students to see it? So they're handing it up on the 30th, but the handout date is not until the 18th. And I want it to go up. Let's say, for example, I have this class at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I can schedule it for 2 o'clock. And I'll show you the difference. Okay, it's not going to show up here. The students won't see it, but you can see on my view. Now, the students won't see this either. But if I click here, and here I can see Brief 03 Principles of Design. It's going to post on the 18th of September at 2 o'clock. So what's great about this is you can, let's say in September, you can schedule all of your briefs for the whole year, or briefs from the start of the year till Christmas or whatever, and you can schedule them all. Now let's say for argument's sake I decide, actually, I need to change this. I've changed, let's say, when it's due. I need to give them a bit more time on it. Let's say the 7th of October. And up here, schedule for the 18th of September. I've realised, I actually need to give it out a bit later than that. I'm going to give it out on the 25th, and I'm not going to give it out at 2 o'clock. I'm going to give it out in a class at 4 o'clock. Okay, so schedule that. So you can change as you go along. So that's pretty much it for scheduling assignments, or handing out briefs on Google, and also scheduling briefs for the future.